Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted you're able to join me this morning on the webinar on objection handling for the loss recovery insurance product. We'll touch on the FCA review of SME claims handling. We've just taken a few points out from that review of the FCA that are quite interesting as to what SMEs actually think of the claims services across the board from insurers, etc. We'll talk about the main sales barriers you get when trying to sell loss recovery insurance, and we've put up 4 main objections from clients as to why they don't sell loss recovery insurance. We visit an awful lot of brokers, and these are the questions that come up the objections that come up quite regularly. And hopefully, if we go through this format, we'll go through 6 steps to selling. And we often hear, along with the objections, what we want to do is provide you with a framework of how to address those objections when they do come up during your meetings with prospects or existing clients who haven't currently got the loss recovery insurance products. We'll touch on the benefits of loss recovery insurance just to refresh you as to what those are, and obviously we'll go through how to transact, because there are some people on the webinar that actually don't currently deal with us, and we'll go through how you're able to transact, and we'll touch on the end about or after the event service. So moving forward, the FCA review. When this came about a couple of years ago, they identified that there was a large gap between an SME business's expectations, the actual claim service they received from insurers. And sadly, there was a poor overall perception by the SMEs of their actual claims experience. Claims were not always managed, they felt that claims weren't always managed effectively or in their interests. And interestingly, there was an interest in including a lack of clarity as to who should be driving the actual claims outcome, whether it was the broker, the insurer, or themselves. And then finally, the poor communication between the differing parties, leading to delays in the overall settlement of their claims. Well, as we know, I certainly know, but my former job was a claims manager. It was always frustrating. The claim would go really well, and then all of a sudden, if communications went quiet or nobody was talking to each party, that's when the wheels come off and things can get very difficult on claims. And I say that's just an unfortunate scenario that I'm sure other people will have experienced. So when our product, we think obviously we try to, without question, offer a service to exceed your client's expectations on claims when they're faced with a crisis. The issues that you face when trying to sell loss recovery insurance to your clients, I want you to think about what those really are and what are the main reasons clients give you for declining to buy the product. As I say, we've actually got here 4 points that are regular objections that we have from clients as to why they haven't purchased the product. So some clients are saying, never had a claim, so why are you trying to sell me something I don't need? If that were the case, would you be selling them an insurance program? I mean, without question, that client is only going to test you when they have a claim. You're trying to give them the best possible enhanced claims experience when they do have a claim. If the second point is if they're unlucky enough to have a claim, they'll say, oh, well, I'll just pay for it or pay for an assessor as and when that loss happens. I don't think those people actually understand just how much cost it is to them when that happens, because obviously assessors can charge up to 10% of the overall loss. On £1 million claims, that's a heck of a lot of money. I mean, obviously it might be slightly cheaper than that. I'm sure there's a negotiation that takes place, but that can be a very expensive way of doing things, or it could be an hourly rate. But that essentially would negate, if they had this product, it would negate the reason to pay for an assessor. And then I think this is possibly the most frequent objection, and that's, you're my broker. Isn't it your job to deal with my claim? A lot of account executives I speak to, they are, obviously they have the first-class relationship with their clients, and they try to deliver on every point. But the reality is, if you get a difficult BI loss or there's a repudiation of some element, it is actually, you do need an expert who's dealing with that type of scenario on a day in, day out basis. And that's where we become part of your claims team. And yes, to a degree, you deal with every element of claims as and when they come along. But the reality is, it's so much nicer to have an expert with you to give them that enhanced claim service and someone who's able to calculate the BI and understand their business and deliver that when they need it. As some brokers, clients will just say times are tough. A lot of SMEs are moved for 20 quid these days, and a lot of them want you to save them as much money as you can. The reality is, if you're going to make those savings and you're going to reduce the cover you have, you're going to have an awful lot of problems when it comes to a claim. So therefore, this product obviously is going to help you. But as I said, today we're going to take you through a few steps on actually how to sell the product. And really, it's a bit of a framework, because counter-objecting those objections, we actually begin with a conclusion. Start where you want to be with your client at the end, and that's essentially purchasing the product. You need to ask qualifying questions. Those are information gathering questions to establish, is there a want and a need for this client to purchase the policy? The prospect won't necessarily know whether they have a need for the product or service. These are the questions that will help you discern whether you can help them or not. The need awareness questions are the ones that give an understanding, hopefully gives them an understanding as to why they do actually need the product or service. And then, of course, the need satisfaction is you giving them the answer as to their needs and what they require. And trial and close. The trial close is just checking with the client that, yeah, everything's good, I understand, but they may at that point say, actually, I don't quite understand. So we'll talk about that. But and then you move on to costs at the very end, and then hopefully close a successful sale. But as I say, that's a little bit of a framework that you can use whether you're selling loss recovery insurance or any other add-ons or any products. So let's begin with the conclusion. Do you want your clients to take advantage of the Rega product, because essentially in the event of a major loss, he'll be able to continue trading, knowing that he has an expert adjuster alongside him, but protecting him, working with his interests in order to achieve the fastest and fairest settlement. I always say that the whole point of loss recovery insurance is to speed up the claims process, but giving that client the professional help every single step of the way. A lot of brokers will have a claims team and a claims manager, and it may be that that claims manager wants to come along with our adjuster when it happens, and that's perfectly fine, because you work as a team as and when our adjusters are out. So let's talk about the qualifying questions. Asking clients whether they have a disaster recovery plan. I'm not sure that every small business or on the high street would have things like that. But possibly your manufacturing, your factory floor people, they would have, if they're producing a product that needs to be kept in the market, otherwise they're going to lose all their clients, they have to have some form of plan in place. Loss recovery insurance could form part of that plan. You've got to think of our adjusters, they could help with seeking alternative premises, things like that. Understanding if they do have a disaster recovery plan, or even looking at their plan, their future business plan even. There are ways that we can work to help them achieve, their business plan alongside the disaster recovery plan. Trying to take that awful negative situation on a claim and trying to make it into a positive is what we're about. A good question asked them is, have you or anyone you've ever had a property claim? It's very rare then when you don't hear somebody tell you about a claim story. And it could be, if it's a commercial director that might never have had a claim, and they're the kind that say, I've never had a claim, why would we need this? But ask them, well, have you personally or one member of your family had a claim that's maybe gone wrong? And generally people will tell you a story. And if you listen to it, that's where you can actually fit in the offer of loss recovery insurance. And that's just gathering a little bit of information as to what this you understand, and understand that claims don't always go right; they can go wrong. Another information gathering question is: have they ever used an independent loss adjuster? Have they had to pay a loss assessor on a claim, and what was their experience of that? We touched on that earlier. If they have to buy in this service, it's a very expensive way of having to pay for this type of service. It can be anything up to £300 plus that an hour if you use an independent loss adjuster. So if they say yes to that, it'd be interesting to know how much they actually paid for that service. So that's a little bit of information you think about when you're listening to their reply on that. And what's their view of insurers and their attitude to paying claims? Sadly, I think I haven't worked for an insurer for 20 years, and sometimes, the attitudes aren't always positive from clients when you're talking about how much insurance you pay. But they pay a lot of money, but then they always seem to say, "Oh, it goes down to the small type. They're not going to pay my claim," and they're trying to wriggle out of it. Those are the kind of comments that you try and say, "Well, no, these are the covers that you require." And to be honest, lots of clients are not experts on policy wordings, and that's what you're buying into when you have loss recovery insurance. It's people who understand, what the covers are. And as I say, and how they can deal with those issues. And highlight your client that it is their responsibility to prepare and present a claim to the insurers. So if you think about, they may miss something, they may miss something out completely to claim for. That's their problem. That's your client's problem if they haven't highlighted that. A lot of loss adjusters from the insurers are very fair people, and I'm sure they would say, but not everybody. If you've missed something, they're not going to highlight it. It is down to your client to prepare and present the claim to the insurers, and they need to be aware of that as well. So again, on the information side of things, putting the questions for the need awareness. If you ask them if there was a major flood or a fire in the vicinity, how would it affect the business? I mean, would they still be able to trade? And if they could trade, how long could they survive? I think a lot of SME clients will say, "Oh, probably 2-3 months." The reality will be 6 weeks. Once they've started paying for their employees' wages, still have to pay their rent, their rates, their mortgage. They have to pay suppliers. The money runs out very quickly on a major loss, and that's where they don't quite understand that, and that's where these type of questions will help you bring them to an understanding of what this product can help them with. Obviously, if it's a major loss, trade stops tomorrow. There will be no income coming in. So, after the first month, they probably won't have any income in, and that's where they're desperate. They really need some proactive work done immediately on the loss. To get them still trading, and cash injection into the business is the most important thing to keep clients going. And asking them, would they have the expertise in-house to cope, and the funds, if they, obviously the funds, if they have in-house expert, brilliant, but they may have to rely on their accountant perhaps. And if it's, for instance, a high street shop, they have a major fire, that person is not going to have an expert in-house to cope with dealing with the BI, the information and preparation. They will probably have to pay an accountant to do that. And again, that's going to be a very expensive hourly rate for them. So that's another cost they need to consider. And how easily could they work out the value of the loss? If they had to literally sit down and work out all the elements, a lot of people, as I say, miss some things, but also they haven't got the expertise to work out, the loss of profit, things like that. Again, it relies on them probably getting an expert in on the account side of things. And how would it affect their customers if the claim took a long time to settle? Well, that's quite easy. If we use the high street scenario, a high street shop, they'll just lose the footfall and they'll go to their competitors up the road. That's what happens when a major fire happens. But to be honest, on an SME client, you can have a £20,000 loss, which isn't really classed as a major loss, but that could be a major loss to them. And that's where they may need that additional help. So when you're talking to your clients and you're trialing, you just go, this question is a little bit of a statement, just checking that in the event of a major loss, how would you feel if we arranged for your own independent claims expert to contact you, visit you on site with a strategic recovery plan to get you trading as soon as possible? I think they might like the sound of that. And if they do, that's something that, hopefully they'll just say yes, but how much will it cost? And then you can actually discuss the cost with them, and you're virtually at the stage where you've sold the policy. But if they turn around and say, oh, I'm not sure I really need this, go back to the relevant benefits, because, as I say, that's where you need to just reaffirm the benefits of the product, how it can help them. And, you can state that many of your clients, loss recovery insurance has never been more mainstream as a product, because lots of clients have experienced the claim surge they get from this actual product. And you can say a lot of your clients take advantage of loss recovery insurance because of the benefits. And you can tell them more about it and explain those benefits of the product. And hopefully, if you're persuaded by them, so be it. And you can go ahead and and ask them to, if you want it set up, and then ask that you'd like them to add it to the portfolio for this year. That would be, your ultimate goal, is to get them to that position. So we talk about the benefits of loss recovery insurance for your clients and for yourselves. You're aware it is a fast response at a time of crisis. Our telephone service is 24 hours, 7 days a week. It goes through to a person in the UK based in Preston, and there is 24 hours a rota as to who's on call during the nights or weekends. That's UK wide. It provides a client with peace of mind, knowing that if they do have that major loss, they have someone alongside them. In addition to yourselves as brokers, let me make it clear: you set your protocols of how much or how little you require to be involved in these claims. But it does offer peace of mind for your clients, knowing that someone's controlling the loss and looking after them, and they're at every meeting that they need them to be at. They know that someone's professionally formulating the claim and negotiating that claim with the insurer's loss adjuster, and getting that best possible settlement so that nothing is missed out of their claim. And of course, it just reduces the time and cost of dealing the claim for everybody, whether it's you as a broker and a claims or account executive, but also for the client. It is a big worry when they literally see their life's work disappear in front of them. What do we do? Well, they need a lot of reinsurance and help. And of course, when major fires happen, it's inevitable. Loss assessors are going to turn up within hours at a loss. And if they have this product, it avoids them having to pay for the after the event help. And, I said, that's a lot of money that essentially could be in the client's pocket if they purchase a policy. And it's all about business survival. It's keeping them ahead of the game, keeping those, the competitors away from the doors. Our adjusters are amazing at finding ways around to keep businesses going all the time. And we have a lot of case studies on our website that you can use. I think these are really helpful things when you're trying to sell this product to a client. It's really useful to take along with you or send them one of our claims case studies. I think there are about, Sarah will correct me if I'm wrong, but there's 44, 45 on the website already, and we're always looking at new ones to put on the website, because at the end of the day, if someone else, if a similar business has had this scenario, it will be unlikely that it could happen to your client, and therefore this story could be relevant to them, this claim story. So, and also the loss recovery insurance will minimise disruption to your client's lifestyle. I have heard so many clients who literally can't sleep. If it's a factory and there's a big engineering breakdown scenario, they actually have stayed overnight at the factories because it's a total disruption to their whole lifestyle and their family as well, because the claim becomes all-consuming. The product itself are at affordable premiums. If you work out the low bandings of our loss recovery insurance product, you'll see they're not even an hour of our adjuster's time. And, our products, they're aimed at claims above £5,000, but it's an uncapped product. Basically, it doesn't matter how large your client's loss is, the premium that they pay at renewal for loss recovery insurance will cover those fees. What you're always trying to do as brokers is to give an exceptional claim service for clients. A lot of your brokers will have claims team and will already be doing a first-class job. All the loss recovery insurance do is help you deliver, an enhanced offering to your clients. And I have to say, as an ex-claims manager, I wished I'd had somebody alongside me when we were dealing with major hotel fires and the likes when it happened. There's always an additional revenue stream for yourselves as brokers, because obviously there's a commission for every policy sale. But also just remember that it's the time that you save in not having to be at every meeting if you choose not to be. It is your choice whether you go out with our adjusters on every meeting or not. We have some people that do, some people that don't. It's your choice. And overall, it should reduce the time and cost in claims handling. In the amount of time that you have to spend, you can concentrate on your new business and on your renewals rather than dealing with lots of claims. But it protects client relationships. When you come to actually dealing with clients at renewal and they actually have used the service and have purchased the service, they should be in the affirmative. And because you've been tried and tested on your claims service, because don't forget, Larega is very much back office. We are an extension of your team, if you like. So it should help you win and retain new clients, because once you've had your own experience of using the product, you will totally get Larega. So in addition to the 6 steps of selling, once you've sold some policies and you've actually experienced the claim service, you will get it, and you will probably sell more because you actually get loss recovery insurance and understand how it works. As a broker to actually transact, for the new brokers who have logged onto the webinar this morning, I know we have a lot of existing clients, but there's also new ones there. So just to say, it's a simple quote and buy online system, or Larega online system. And there's also, it's Actuaries supported. All our products are on Actuaries. You just need to choose which system you decide to go with. All documentation and customer leaflets are available online, along with the claims case studies. There are rates for both commercial and, we haven't mentioned private clients, but of course, private clients, some people think, why would we need loss recovery insurance for our private client portfolio? Because they're either with Joe Piscox or, a significant policy. But quite often, private clients can be cash rich but time poor and just want someone to take over everything for them. And that's where the Larega policy can step in beautifully when that happens. There is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week claim notification service. If you use the Larega online facility, there's actually a first notification of loss service. So you just complete it online and it goes straight into the claims team, and generally within a very short time, certainly within an hour, you'll get a call from either our adjuster or claims team confirming who has been appointed, and they'll give you a call. Anything that we've discussed today, all our resources and help are at larega.com. I'm not sure whether we have talked about the remote training. For brokers now, we have training available for all our products via our online training platform called Lessonly. And whenever you log on to Lessonly, if you ask anybody who's responsible in your brokerage about it, you can actually log on to get a username and password, log on to Lessonly, and for every lesson you do, they're around about 20-minute sessions, but for every session you do, there's a little question set, and that will flag up to your bosses or yourselves, whoever goes on to it, whether there's a need for further training. But also, it's great because you get your CPD points, and there's a little certificate at the end that will be issued for you as and when you choose to take those lessons. So quite a lot of brokers are signed up to that, and if they're not currently, they're about to be. But that's a useful little tool for yourselves to go in as well, and just to refresh your memory. Oh, is this covered on loss recovery insurance, or even if you're using a cyber product or one of our HSE liability products? It's a good way of just giving you a refresher, and possibly use it as part of your induction for new starters. It's available to brokers and teams of all sizes, and as I said, it counts for CPD time. And if you want to talk to your training managers, if you're not already on it, you certainly can use that. Now, I haven't talked an awful lot about a Lorega Expert after the event service, but this is just before the end of the webinar. If after all those steps of sales and that doesn't work and your client absolutely says, no way, I'm not purchasing loss recovery insurance, which would be a shame after this webinar, because I hope to hear about some successes. There is the Lorega after the event service. So because you have an agency with ourselves, you can just pick up the phone or email us 24 hours, 7 days a week for clients who haven't got the policy, and we will put a price against that service. As I said earlier, it's very expensive hourly rate, but our adjusters will negotiate that with yourselves and your clients. I can't actually say how much it is today because it depends on the type of loss, the scenario, and they will put that price to yourself. So you can still have us 24 hours 7, but it would be an hourly rate or a percentage if it's a major loss. But we do, some of you may not be aware, that we do have liability experts as well. We have 6 liability adjusters all over the country, whereby if you have a scenario where there's a product liability claim gone wrong, or maybe it's a difficult PI loss, please pick up the phone, talk to us, and we will put you in touch with one of our after the event liability experts who will be able to give you a price for any service that they can help you with. And also our business continuity planning experts, so businesses. We have an SME offering, and particularly online offering for that service. And if any of you are interested today, please get in touch with us. But that's a consultancy work, but also there's an online in-only facility whereby it's aimed at for small businesses who require that kind of service. There's a lot of fee-based services, even for our cyber products as well, but they're charged hourly rate or a percentage of the agreed claim. We do file auditing services if that's required, but most of all our products are there to provide peace of mind for your home and business owners. I like to think of it, we are the go-to people. If you have a real problem on a claim, you don't know where to go, anything non-motor, then pick up the phone, talk to us, and we should be able to direct you to one of our experts who should be able to help you.